Hey everyone, and welcome to Isms by Josie. Today we're going to be continuing our Annie's Crochet Afghan Block of the Month Club, doing the Cozy Cottage Sampler Afghan. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much for tuning in. And for my new viewers, please consider subscribing, share, hit that like button, leave a comment below, and click on that notification bell for future videos. So today, you guys, we are doing the Afghan. We have already done blocks 1 and 2 out of the 3 in this instructional booklet. If you have never done Annie's Block of the Month Club or anything like that, it's a subscription. You pick, you go on the website, you pick out a project, and it splits up the project into kits. This particular kit has 10 or 11 kits. Each kit is about $27.99. I got the first one on a Black Friday, so that was a lovely one. That the total for 2 kits, 2 different projects that I got were like $11, $12. So unfortunately thereafter they're all $27.99. However, when you do go to a store and you buy an Afghan handmade, it does end up being like, you know, $100, maybe more, depending on the difficulty, the complexity of the Afghan. So you're pretty much buying an authentic handmade blanket at the end of the day, except you're making it. So these are the 2 blocks that I did. This started out doing basic stitches. This is the last one we made. It was double crochet stitches, which is one of the basic stitches in crocheting. Then in the gray we have single crochet stitches, which is another basic stitch in crochet. So today we're going to see what the 3rd block is. In this kit we got, it came with this booklet. It has blocks 1 through 3. We did 1. We did 2. And today we are going to do 3. Skill level is beginner. I so far agree with it, and I liked how it progresses in stitches. So today these are the V-stitch. We're going to be doing a V-stitch. V-stitch and a shell, which are not basic and standard stitches, but they are present in a lot of instructions, so it's a good stitches to know. And the funny part is that they name these colors, but the yarns they gave me, okay, this one matches. All right, so we're using biscotti. They also send you the yarns with it. They send you the 2 hook sizes with it. They send you a tapestry needle and markers. These are a collection of all the kits that I have received over, you know, over the year, from different kits. So if you're wondering why I have a lot, but I save all of them. Before we start, we want to find our ends of our spool here. I like to pull from the inside. So let's try to pull this out. This is the outside yarn. They usually tuck it in, which is very confusing. That's a lot of different crochet companies. I'm just going to wrap this around and hide it inside this little band label here so it's out of the way. What I want to do is get inside here and pull the other end out. Now if it's not obvious, there's no real good way to do it. What I do is I come in there and I kind of pinch a little bit and pull out and see what comes out. Sometimes a lot comes out, sometimes I get it right and pull just a little bit, but I feel like, yeah, I pulled the wrong part. There's no real wrong part, it's just getting in here and pulling the inside out. So, but don't be discouraged because we'll be using it up anyway. So when I pulled this sucker out, you see how like these kind of trailed off, and then we have this one strand, which means I have the other end in this hand, which is good. So you just have to find that other end, which is right here. but just to make sure there's no tangles, I'm just gonna do this. And this way, when you pull the yarn this way, your spool won't roll around. It'll just come out from that inside of the spool or skein. I say spool all the time. From the skein. And it won't be rolling around. Alright, so if you need me to speed up or slow down the video, go ahead and click on the gear button in the corner of the screen. There's playback options to go fast or slow. If you don't need to hear me talk, you can lower the volume on your device and then click on the closed captioned CC button. I will introduce new stitches at least 3 times step by step, and then thereafter I'm going to go at a different pace. And then if it's a new instruction, of course I walk you guys through it. So this is what it's supposed to look like. Hopefully it does look like that in the end. But let's get started. Okay, so we are going to be using the larger hook. So all right, with a larger hook, we have two. We have a 5.0 millimeter, and then we have a 5.5 millimeter. So this one is usually made for the border, as per the last 2 blocks, and this one is used for the actual block. All right. Now, we gotta cast on our hook using the slip knot. So what we're going to do is take the pinky and the ring finger and the thumb. We're going to hold this end down, and with our index and middle, we're going to hold the other end a little ways apart. Take your hook, lie it perpendicular to the yarn. We're going to go down, out, and around to make this loop. Drag your hook towards your thumb. We're going to take our middle finger and pinch it where it crosses. Let go of your left hand. We're going to gather up some yarn around our finger, and then we're going to re-pinch the end of this yarn with our thumb and our middle finger. Then drag your hook towards your thumb. Where it crosses, we're going to pinch it like this so that your yarn can no longer move up and down. We're going to yarn over like that. And then we're going to pull this through the loop like that. Okay. Then I'm going to overhand my hook. I'm going to make sure I'm pinching that end nice and tight. I'm going to push this knot with my thumb and index towards this thumb. And you want to keep pushing it until that knot becomes tight. Not too tight, but to where you can't move it anymore. And then on this side, we're going to pull this end out with our thumb and middle finger. So pull it out just a little bit more to get that knot nice and snug. I'm going to grip the knot, and we're going to pull the knot up to the hook. So let's do that now. You want to leave a good amount of space because we got to do some stitches next. So something like this. Then you can load up your finger here. I loaded up real bad. You don't have to copy me. Alright. And then when we start our project, you can hold on to this knot with your middle finger and thumb to stabilize your project. But let's read into the instructions. Okay, so with larger hook and biscotti, which is this color yarn, we're going to chain 31. We're going to double crochet in 4th chain from hook. The first 3 chains count as a first double crochet, and in each chain across, we're going to turn the project, and we're going to have 29 double crochet stitches in the end. So the chain stitch is a real basic stitch in crocheting, and all it is a yarn over. That's putting the yarn over the hook. Then we are going to pull this through the loop, and that's it. That's the chain. You get a nice braid here. You get a loop on each side that makes the braid, and then when you turn it on its side, you get this loop here in the back. I call it a hump. But let's do this again. So yarn over, pull this through the loop. Now we have 2 braids. We have 2 chain stitches. Right? We have the loop here, turn it on its side, and this back loop, I call it the hump. Alright, one more time with you guys. So yarn over, we're going to pull this through the loop, and now we have 3 single crochet stitches, a loop here, turn on its side, you have the back loop or hump on here. Alright, so now all we got to do is 28 more. So let's do 28 more chain stitches. 2, 3, 4, 5, and I already lost count. Oh, that's crazy. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Oh, 31. I was supposed to do 28. Well, if you did more than that, I'll show you how to do it. Let's just double count our stitches. 31 altogether. 3, 6, 9, 12, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, and 1. So I did an extra 3 stitches to remove them. So double count, make sure you have 31 altogether. Of course, if you need more, do more chain stitches. If you did too many, you can slip your hook off, out of that loop. Then I'm going to slowly pull the chain stitches. The great thing about crocheting is that you can undo your stitches as easily as you made them, probably easier than how you made them. Alright, and once you pull out all the ones you need, I'm pinching the 31 chain so I don't mess with that. You can slip your hook back into that loop, and we're good to go. So we're going to do a double crochet stitch in the 4th chain from the hook. We did this in the last block 2. If you didn't do that, check that out later. But that it's good to go in order because the difficulty does progress. Alright, so we're going to count 4 chains from the hook. Here's 1, here's 2, here's 3, and here's 4. So we're going to put our first double crochet stitch in the 4th chain from the hook. So you want to yarn over. Now, the way that I explain this all the time is normally you would put your project like this horizontally so you can see what you're doing here. This would be the back loop, this would be the front loop. Normally you would put your hook into the back loop and do all your double crochet stitches that way. I don't do that. So the reason why I showed you the body parts of each chain stitch before is because I'm going to show you where I put my needle or my hook when I do stitches right off the chain stitches. So if I count 4 stitches from the hook, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm not putting it in the back loop, I'm not putting it in the front loop, I turn it on its back and I put it in the hump. So again, you can do it normal and put it in the back loop. I'm going to put it in the hump. So put your hook into the 4th stitch from the hook we already yarned over, so you should have 3 loops on your hook now. We're going to yarn over again. We're going to pull this strand through this one, just like that. Now we still have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops, so this one and this one. Okay. Then we're going to yarn over again and pull through all the loops off your hook, like that. So this is your second single crochet stitch. They said the first 3 chain stitches are considered as a double crochet stitch. And if you want, and I think I'm going to do this because it happens to me sometimes, I'm going to take my marker, and you want to put your marker just under the braid of the, so if this is your first double crochet stitch, this is a chain stitch, you want to put it under the next chain stitch over to the right, if that makes any sense. So you see this chain, I want to put the marker just under the front and back loops of it, leaving the hump behind, and I'm going to close that. That way I know that this one is an actual double crochet stitch. You might forget that. Okay, so we're going to do the next 2 single crochet stitches, and then we're going to do the rest. Alright, so yarn over, put your hook into the next stitch. If you did it the normal way, put it on the back loop. If you did it my way, put it in the hump. Yarn over, pull up a loop, gonna yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. One more time with you guys. Yarn over, put your hook into the next stitch, either back loop or hump, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So I did 3 with you guys. We have that 4th one as the chain stitches. Now let me show you why I put it in the back hump. You have your braids for the tops of the double crochet stitches we made, and then if you flip this upside down, you still have a pretty braid on the bottom. If you put it in the back loops like it normally is, you won't see this braid. You're just going to see these loops here. Either way is okay, but when we do a border or any stitching, it's generally nice to be able to have 2 loops in the stitch than 1 because it's stronger. So when we put a border down here, we're going to be using 2 loops, and you're going to feel a nice hold on the border. Okay, if you did it the back loop only, when you pull it, the loops are going to stretch and you're going to see holes through it. So I like to do it this way. Okay. Now we're going to do the remaining 25 double crochet stitches. And again, you can slow down, speed up, you can rewind, you can pause if you need that. Again, when you get to the last stitch, you might have a little excess piece here. You can try to hide it. We might try to hide it later when we do the border as well, but just lie it flat across the hook and you complete your last double crochet stitch. If it doesn't take, you can try to hide it in the border. There you go. Right, you can always double check if you have the right amount of stitches. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 29. All right, so we have 29 stitches. We are going to turn it. So just to let you know, when you have your hook in the loop and all your stitches are on the right of the hook, it means you've completed a round or a row. When you turn it, and we're just going to turn it like this, when your stitches are on your left now, it means that you have just started a row. So try to remember where the right side is. The right side is usually this side, the first side, unless they tell you. So I just got to remember, if pink is on my right, that means I'm looking at the right side. If pink is on my left, I'm looking at the wrong side. All right, so then we could do row 2. So for row 2, we're going to chain 3 and see pattern notes. Say what? Okay, weave the ends as work progresses. Nope. Chain 3. At the beginning of the row counts as first double crochet unless otherwise stated. Okay. So we're going to have to pull out another marker. Okay, we're going to do the 3 chains. So 1, 2, 3. I'm just gonna straight away put the marker under the braid of the 3rd chain, and that'll indicate the top of this double crochet. We're gonna skip the next stitch, and then we're going to do a V stitch, and then it says see special stitches, which is right here. A V stitch is a double crochet stitch, a chain 1, and a double crochet stitch as indicated in instructions. Okay, so in the next stitch. All right, so we are skipping 1, and then we're going to do the V stitch. So we're using this stitch, but we got to do a double crochet stitch. So yarn over. We're going to stick that into the next stitch over, because this is the 3 chain, this is the skipped, and this is the V stitch. Put your hook in that one. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then we are going to do a chain 1, so yarn over and chain 1. And then we're going to do another double crochet stitch. So yarn over, we're going to stick into the same stitch here. All right, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So it comes out looking like a V. We have our 3 chain as a double crochet stitch. We have our double crochet stitch, a chain stitch, and a double crochet stitch. So after that, we have to skip the next 3 stitches, and then we're going to do a shell. See special stitches. So the shell is 5 single crochet stitches as indicated in instructions. Love shells. Okay, so what we do is we're going to yarn over. We're going to skip the 3 stitches here. We're going to stick our hook into the next stitch after those 3 stitches. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now we just have to do this 4 more times in the same stitch. Yes. So yarn over into the same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now we have 2. Let's do this again. Yarn over, into that same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. 2 more times, you guys. Yarn over, into the same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. 1 more time, you guys. Yarn over, into the same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So we pretty much stuck 5 double crochet stitches in this one stitch. You're going to form a hole here, but it naturally starts to fan out, which is why it looks like a shell. And then we have our V-stitch here. All right. So now we're going to skip the next 3 stitches, and then we're going to do a V-stitch in the next stitch. So yarn over, skip the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, put your hook into the next one over. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. We're going to chain 1, and then we're going to do another double crochet stitch in the same stitch. Okay. And then this is in brackets. So does it say anything in the back? Okay. So in the brackets means that oh, this is too low. So in the brackets, it pretty much means you have to repeat it. And in this case, when you turn back, it says across to the last 2 stitches. So we have to, normally it tells you the number of times, but this is pretty much saying you have to repeat this bracket until you reach the end of the other side, with the exception of last 2 stitches. Okay, so let's do that. Let me gather up some yarn here. But it's pretty much alternating the V-stitch and the shell. So this is a more complex pattern, but at the end of the day, it's fairly simple because it's just different combinations of double crochet and chain stitches. All right. So we're going to skip the next 3 stitches, yarn over, and we're going to do the shell. 1, 2, 3, into the next stitch after that. Let's do 5 double crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Then we're going to skip the next 3 stitches, and then we're going to do a V-stitch. So skip 3, 1, 2, 3, put your hook into the next stitch over. We're going to do a double crochet stitch. We're going to do a chain stitch. Then we're going to do another double crochet stitch in that same stitch, and we've completed our V-stitch. Repeat this again. So yarn over, skip the next 3 stitches. We're going to do a shell stitch. That's 5 single crochet stitches in 1 stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Try to make all your stitches consistent. Size, shape, tension. Okay, you'll learn that over time. Alright, yarn over. We're going to skip 3 stitches and we're going to do a V-stitch. So 1, 2, 3, into the next stitch over, we're going to do a V-stitch, double crochet, chain stitch, and then another double crochet stitch in the same stitch. Okay, then according to this, last 2 stitches, we're going to skip the next stitch, and then we're going to we're going to double crochet stitch in the last stitch and turn. So where we marked this, we know now where to put our hook. That's the good part about markers. Right, double crochet stitch that. Okay, and then I would mark, you can mark this as well if you want. Not necessarily, you can leave it. Alright, so we're going to turn. Now, we have row 3. So row 3 is chain 3, and then of course we know that this is going to count as the first double crochet stitch now and always in this project. I am going to put the marker just under the braid of the last chain stitch we made. Then it says DC, a double crochet stitch in each stitch and in each chain space across and turn. Okay, so yarn over, and we're gonna put a double crochet stitch in each stitch. So this counts as 1. Let's go into the next stitch. Okay, and in each chain space. So in the chain space, you don't have to put it through the back hump, you just put it through the whole chain. So we're going to go in here, and we're just going to do our double crochet stitch. Okay, we're going to do our next stitch. Okay, let me get more yarn here. Okay, and then we're going to do a double crochet stitch in each of the double crochet stitches in the shell. We're keeping the same number, 29 double crochet stitches across the board. Alright, so into the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, that was the shell. We're back to the V-stitch, so into the next stitch, into the space, the chain space. We're going, right, we're going in the hole, doing our double crochet stitch. Right, next stitch over. Then we're back at the shell. 5 double crochet stitches in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Back at the V-stitch. Into that chain 1. Next stitch. Okay, next 5 double crochet stitches in the shell. Okay, next V-stitch, chain space, okay, then we have our marker of our chain 3, okay, all right, so we finished round 3. For round 4, let's turn this. This is what it's looking like so far. On the wrong side, I am going to just get some more yarn here. Okay, so for round 4, we're going to chain 3, we're going to skip the next stitch, we're going to V-stitch in the next stitch, skip the next 3 stitches, shell in the next stitch, skip the next 3 stitches, V-stitch in the next stitch, across the last 2 stitches, skip stitch, skip the next stitch, and double crochet stitch in the last stitch and turn. So it's pretty much the same thing we did in row 2. So let's chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We're gonna put our marker into the 3rd stitch. Then we're gonna do our V-stitch. We're gonna do our V-stitch. So you want to skip the next stitch here. This is our chain 3. This is our skip. We're putting our hook into the next stitch, and we're gonna do our V-stitch. Okay. Chain 1. Okay. Then we're going to do 5 single crochet stitches after we've skipped 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Into the next one, do our shell, which is the 5 double crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, we're going to skip 3 stitches, then we're going to do a V-stitch. 1, 2, 3 in this stitch. Let's do our V-stitch. Okay, then we're going to skip 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and do our shell stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to skip 3. 1, 2, 3, and do our V-stitch. 1, skip another 3, do another shell. 1, 2, 3, 5 single crochet, 5 double crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, we're going to skip, oops, we're going to skip 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to do a V-stitch. Oops, V-stitch. Okay, then we're going to skip 1 and do a double crochet stitch in the next stitch over. Okay. So now I'm going to put a marker in here because this is going to count as row 5. Okay. 5. We have to do 5 through 15. So if this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now I'm going to double count just to make sure. So if this one's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I got to use up all these markers, and then that will let me know I'm done with rows 5 through 15. We have to pretty much repeat rows 3 and 4 alternately, alternately 6 times, ending last repetition with row 3 at the end of last row. Do not turn. Okay, so this is pretty much the pattern, you guys. It's going to be a combo of this. We're going to keep going up until we're done with all the rows. I'm going to take a little break. Gotta feed the little monster, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I completed all 15 rows, and I am facing the right side of my project. We're going to continue on to round 16, which I believe is going to be the border. So we are almost done with this, you guys. This I like these little squares. I could never do a blanket in its entirety, as I mentioned, but having these broken down for you and having it kind of progress in difficulty is, I think, a really cool thing to do. The only thing is that it's, you know, how many kits per project, and in this case each kit is $27.99. I do find that kind of pricey. Again, if you were to buy it already made, it's probably that much. But I don't like doing that. I like making my own stuff for way cheaper. Alright, so we're gonna go to round 16, working in ends of rows and in stitches with smaller hook. We're gonna chain 1, evenly spaced 25 single crochet stitches down each edge, around with 3 single crochet stitches in each corner. Join in beginning single crochet stitch and fasten off. So I'm going to switch out this needle with this needle, or hook, sorry. And I'm going to come in with my post-it, and we are going, well, I'm going to, off camera, figure out the divisions versus the amount of rows so that they are spaced evenly. So I divvied up 25 stitches down the side of our square, and it's a little off. It's not completely symmetrical, but I came up with this, so I'm going to try following the numbers on here. But so we're gonna do round 26. Let me just gather up some yarn here. The sides are always going to be a little difficult to evenly divide the stitching, because unlike the obvious stitching you get where we've been working all this time, you don't see that here. Okay. Alright, so now we're gonna do our chain 1 with the smaller hook. Okay. I'm just going to, let's just mark off the last stitch we made, not the chain 1, but the last stitch we made. Okay. Alright, now we're going to do the 25 single crochet stitches evenly placed. Right. And I'm going to be breaking, like, I don't like to go into all the way around the stitch because I feel like it kind of separates it from everything. So I'm actually just going to break it in the middle of the stitch. And the same thing with the chain 3s, just find moments where I can put my hook in. It's already kind of separated on its own because it's a 3 chain. So I just don't want to make it really obvious. Alright. So I hope you can see the green post-it note. I did the counts. So there are 15 rows, and each row is a number. So whatever number you see next, that's what you do. And we're reading left to right, right to left. It's the kind of like almost the same. So you don't need to worry about which direction you are reading. Let me see. So 1, 2, 1, 2. This one's 2. and I think 2 single crochets per row is a good max for these double crochet stitches on each row here. I wouldn't want to go any more than 3. 1, 2. And then if you get kind of lost, because I'm actually talking while I'm doing this, normally I wouldn't be, I'm going to just cross it out as I go on. That. And I am a lefty, so if you see me struggling, oh man. Alright. 2, 2. Comment below if you are a righty and crochet lefty, or if you're a lefty and crochet righty, or if you can do both. I can do both crocheting, writing, it's a different story. I used to practice writing with my right, so it wasn't too bad, but it's been a long time since then. We evenly spaced out 25. Now we're going to go into, so you see how we kind of left the underside of the first row intact, so we have all this braiding. Now it's going to be very easy for us to divvy up the 25 single crochet stitches and use 2 loops to make 1 stitch, which makes a stronger hold. So I'm gonna go into the the first stitch. Just need to make sure that I find that here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Wow. 28, 29. All right. So in the first first stitch, I guess, We're going to do 3 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3. All right, so we know that each row, right, has, each row has 29 stitches here, but we need to evenly spread to 25. Now we know that one of the stitches are going to be used for the other 3 single crochet stitches, so that leaves us 27, which means we have to lose 2 stitches down this. So because this is kind of fanned out, these 3 single crochet stitches, I'm just going to automatically skip the first one, and then I'm going to do 25 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25, and we're going to skip a stitch, and we're going to put our 3 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, and 3. All right, so we have our 25 single crochet stitches going this way. We're going to turn our project, and we have to do the same 25 single crochet stitches that we divided up. And so I'm going to leave this post-it note on my work area, and we're going to do the rest in silence. If you need a guide, you can rewind and go back to the other 2 sides to finish off this block, and then I'll pop back in and I'll show you how to fasten off and everything. All right, so I did 25. I did the 3 chain stitches at the corners, and now we're just gonna join at the beginning of the first single crochet stitch. So you'll put your hook in the first single crochet stitch you made for the border, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through all the loops to join, and then I'm going to cut off about an inch or so, and we're going to yarn over and pull this all the way out. We're going to tug on this end piece here and tighten up that stitch. Okay, and then I'm just going to go in and weave in and out the remaining piece like this. And you just keep doing this till you finish. Right. So now we have our square. I've marked. This one is a little tough to see. I don't know. I'm just going to remove this. Okay. So here is our finished block, you guys. We have completed this whole booklet of the 3 blocks on the Afghan. Okay. So I will be opening the next package for this, and we're going to continue probably 4 through 6 if they do 3 every time. But let's show again the other pieces we have here. This is the double crochet, this is the single crochet, and then these are the shells and the V-stitches. So thank you so much, you guys, for watching. This is Isms by Josie. Please share, like, and subscribe for future videos, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks. Bye.